Testing 1 2 1 2. It is unapologetically QI entering the building. I'm trying to get some of this content out the way. It's piling up on me, so I'm trying to at least do 2 a day. Unfortunately, I'm unable to hear my music, so I've turned the sound down, and I'm gonna go ahead and let it rip. It's for analytics purposes. Yes, I'm up early this morning. But salute to everybody that enters the building. Y'all make sure and hit that like and subscribe if you haven't. This is Unapologetically QI, here where I do news, celebrity gossip, politics, news that you can use, things that you can use, education, information, and etc. But let's go ahead and get into the content today. Longtime rolling 60s Crip leader and show business entrepreneur charged in federal complaint alleging racketeering crimes. Now, I noticed something before I get more in depth into this article coming from the Department of Justice. I noticed something last week. They picked up, I would just say, an estimate of over like 30 Crip members, including Yella Breezy. They picked up out of Dallas the 42. It was like 8 members of the neighborhood 42 Rolling Crips, 42 Oakland, and they picked up Big U and his entourage. So it appears that the feds, ATF, are targeting Crips this week. Now, we all know that, like, once, they're arrested and they go to jail, people talk, especially when they're facing those football numbers or possibly life in prison. I mean, as long as you're getting away with stuff, as long as you're able to get out of trouble, then, then it's easy. You can be tough and you can go under the no snitching and you can not talk. But then when they say that they're going to snatch your life away or, possibly execute you, because we do know that we have a president in office right now, Trump, and the Republicans who are for execution. Biden and Democrats are not necessarily. They will rather you face life in prison than to be executed, because the way I look at it is, it's always a chance that you could be found innocent. And I'm not talking about for everyone, but I just don't, unless you take a life for a life, I just don't believe in justifying it by taking another's life. And that's just me personally, but our president Trump definitely advocates for that. But back to the article, it was 18 other Rolling 60s members and associates charged federally. And of course, y'all know this happened in Los Angeles, Compton. A longtime leader of the South Los Angeles-based Rolling 60s neighborhood Crip street gang, who also is an entertainment entrepreneur and self-proclaimed community activist, has been charged in a federal complaint alleging he ran a criminal enterprise that committed a series of racketeering crimes, including extortion, human trafficking, fraud, and the 2021 murder of an aspiring rap musician, the Justice Department announced. Eugene Hinckley Jr., 58, also known as Big U, of the Hyde Park neighborhood of South Los Angeles, is charged in the complaint with conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Act organization. Act. Let me repeat that. I got a little tongue tied. It's Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations RICO Act. Two other alleged members of the criminal enterprise, Sylvester Robinson, 59, also known as Vay of Northridge, and Mark Martin, 50, aka Bear Claw of the Beverlywood area of Los Angeles, were arrested today on the same criminal complaint in which Henley is charged. Robinson and Martin are expected to make the initial appearance this afternoon in the United States District Court in downtown Los Angeles. Henley is considered a fugitive. Okay, now this was before they actually got Big U. But Henley, at this time, Henley was considered a fugitive. The allegations in the complaint, unsealed, revealed a criminal enterprise that engaged in murder, extortion, human trafficking, and fraud, all led by supposed anti-gang activist and purported music entrepreneur who was nothing more than a violent street criminal, said acting United States Attorney Joseph McNally. Eliminating gangs and organized crime in the Department of Justice is the Department of Justice top priority. So their top priority is definitely to eliminate gangs. And like if you notice, most of the gangs like YSL, like the FBG, well, that was a state RICO as well. So whether some states does house RICOs, or whether federal, they're basically doing RICO acts for a lot of the gang members because, like you said, it is a enterprise. It's a criminal enterprise. But the Department of Justice states that they're actively going to be going after gangs and organizations. Charges and arrests target the leadership of the criminal outfit and will make the neighborhoods of Los Angeles safer. I am grateful for the work of our prosecutors and law enforcement partners. So basically, what they're saying there is that they are going to go for the head of the snake. And just like with YSL, their big target was the head of the snake because they consider once you unalive or chop off the head of the head of the corruption, the head of the organizations, the head of the gangs, then the body of the gangs, the body of the organizations, they die. So they're actively after the heads of the gangs or corrupt organizations. The lead defendant and others in the case have for too long gotten away with violent acts and stealing money from taxpayers and well-intentioned donors, whether they use intimidation tactics or wield influence as purportedly rehabilitated original gangsters. So, basically with that, original gangsters. So basically with that, we say OG original gangsters. So basically with that, even in Chicago, Los Angeles, places like New York, you have a lot of older guys, original gangsters that started out like when they were children, and they raised in ranks, and they're considered OGs, the top of the organizations. They have like a nonprofit organization because they like gave a lot of them money and different things to try to work from within the corrupt organizations, the gangs and everything, to like dismantle them, to help people choose to go a different way. And what they're basically saying is that a lot of the grant money, a lot of government funding money from donors and different things were allocated towards these original gangsters, these OGs, to put in place programs as such. So basically they were supposed to be steering people away from the crime, steering the youth, the younger ranked or smaller ranked gang members away from the gang life, that type of lifestyle. And what they're basically saying is because of the fact that they're involved in it or alleged to be involved in it, that they're gonna that basically they're stealing, like Elon Musk. But at any rate, let's get back to it. The FBI and our partners have worked for 4 years to bring justice in this case and will continue to root out this kind of criminal behavior plaguing the streets of Los Angeles. Now, let me bring up something else that I was thinking about with the silence. I was thinking about with P. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs. I mean, allegedly the Tupac, allegedly the Biggie Smalls incident. Y'all got to keep in mind that a lot of this did, have grounding in Los Angeles as well. A lot of people were telling, including, a lot of people were telling. So that is on the radar. So a lot of this stuff, the feds, FBI, ATF, and all of that, they've been putting together puzzle pieces. In fact, they might be in some big office somewhere, and they got a whole big giant wall with LA and connecting all the dots and all the people from LA, and they Chicago to Texas to New York, and etc. Connecting the dots of how the puzzle of the pieces of the puzzle all fit together. So you have to keep that in mind. Like, this is 4 years. They're saying that they've been investigating Big U for 4 years, but they've been investigating other people for at least 10 to 20 years now. So you have to keep in mind that the feds have a lot of information, and normally, with the 98% conviction rate, the feds don't move in until they all almost have a surefire way of knowing that they're gonna get a conviction. Okay, so I have to look into whether Big U has been captured. I think he has, but like I'm not 100% sure because I like to back it up with evidence. I don't go off of what other YouTubers say. Um, just like they're saying that what's his name, Yellow Beezy made bond, but Yellow Beezy has a hold on him. He's still in. He was able to post bond. Maybe his bond was $200,000 um, dollars, but and he had the money for that. But like basically before they release you, they got to check with other states, other counties to make sure that nobody else is actively looking for this person. There are no other warrants before they can release you. So like I don't because of that, I don't like to repeat inaccurate information. I go based on what the officials say. I go based off of what official news entities and different things say. I don't like to just go based off of hearsay or what other YouTubers might quote. That's integrity. That's journalistic integrity. Okay. So, according to the affidavit filed with criminal complaint, which was filed on a Monday and was unsealed from 2010 to the present, Henley's criminal group, identified in court documents as the Big U Enterprise, operated as a mafia-like organization that utilized Henley's, Big U's stature and long-standing association with the Rolling 60s and other street gangs to intimidate businesses and individuals in Los Angeles. Interesting. Henley is widely regarded as a leader within the Rolling 60s and rose to prominence in the street gang during the 1980s. While the Big U Enterprise at times partnered with the Rolling 60s and other criminal elements for mature benefits, the Big U Enterprise is a distinct and independent criminal enterprise engaged in criminal activities, including unaliving, extortion, robbery, trafficking, and exploiting sex workers, fraud, and illegal gambling. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. Let me repeat that one more time. They have evidence. The feds have evidence of Big U Enterprise headed by Big U himself, and along with the Rolling 60s. gang, neighborhood gang, um, engaging in criminal activities such as unaliving people, extortion, robbery, trafficking, exploiting sex workers, fraud, and illegal gambling. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's almost everything that an organization could possibly do illegally. That is definitely an enterprise. That is definitely a criminal enterprise. For example, in January 2021, Henley unalived a victim identified in the affidavit as RW, an aspiring musician signed to Unique Music, Henley and Martin's music label. Shortly before RW's unaliving, Henley and Unique Music paid for RW to travel to Las Vegas to record music at a Grammy Award winning music producer studio. So they paid to have this RW character uh, to go to a Grammy Award winning music producer studio. Let me tell y'all what that means, right? So there is a Grammy Award winning music producer that is also involved in this, along with Unique Music, along with whomever is involved with Unique Music, and this RW person was the victim. Not only did the enterprise expand its power through violence, fear, and intimidation, but it also used social media platforms, No Jumper, documentaries, podcasts, interviews, and Henley's reputation and status as an OG original gangster to create fame for and stroke fear of the Big U enterprise, its members, and its associates. In furtherance of the enterprise, Henley Big U allegedly submitted a fraudulent application during the 19 relief loan in which he claimed that Unique Music was operating at a $200,000 profit in 2019, despite operating a $5,000 loss that year, which 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 should have disqualified it from loan eligibility. So they applied for a loan, one of them PPP loans, and they said that they were making $200,000 profit uh, in 2019, despite operating under a $5,000 loss that year, which would have disqualified them from the loan and the loan amounts. So, they're going after them for that PPP loan, that small business loan during the 19. The enterprise also enriched itself by defrauding donors to nonprofit entities under the control of the Big U enterprise, including Henley's charity, developing options, a Hyde Park based nonprofit. So, he also operated a nonprofit. And the government is very strict on nonprofit because, there's a lot of scams and crimes and different things that go on along with that with nonprofits. So they're often, like gonna come back every now and then, the IRS or whatever, and gonna check in and gonna make you produce your books, gonna make you produce evidence that you're doing what you stated that you were supposed to do, basically making you honor your mission statement and what you actually gotten them were awarded the grant money for. Because with nonprofits, they receive a lot of grants. Henley marketed developing options as giving South Los Angeles youth alternatives choices to gang violence, such as violence, drugs, and other criminal activity. But the Big U enterprise allegedly used it as a front for fraudulent purposes to insulate its members from suspicion by law enforcement. Henley allegedly embezzled large donations that celebrate that celebrities and award-winning companies made to developing options, which Henley immediately converted to his personal bank account. Wow, that's not good. That's illegal. You should never, ever, ever do that. Never, ever, ever immediately move donations, move business money into a personal bank account. So that was red flag number one. According to the complaint, developing options is primarily funded through the City of Los Angeles Mayor's Office through the Gang Reduction Youth Development GRYD Foundation, portions of which receive federal funding but also receive donations from prominent sources, including NBA players. So they're saying that this is state funded along with donations from, celebrities, high, music producers, music industry, et cetera, et cetera. And so basically, that's not good either because, like, let me just tell you, it's like your butt or mine, right? Like, so a lot of these NBA players, a lot of these, they're also under scrutiny investigation because they bring in large sums of money. So a lot of these people, they're, looking at it like it's either your butt or mine. I'm definitely going to, like in that case, I don't want to lose everything, lose everything. So they're definitely going to, do what they can to cover their own butts. The RICO charges against Mr. Henley and his associates reflect a pattern of crimes that run the gamut from extortion to tax evasion, all under the umbrella of a well-organized criminal organization led by Mr. Henley, Big U, said Special Agent in Charge Tyler Hatcher, IRS Criminal Investigations. And from what it seems here, you got the mayor's office, you got the IRS, I just said their name, but the firearms people. You have a lot of small organizations involved in this case. Henley allegedly duped the county of Los Angeles by running a charitable organization that promoted anti-gang solutions while continuing criminal activity that was directly contradictory to his charity. IRS-CI is proud to partner with fellow law enforcement organizations to investigate these criminal organizations to protect our communities from further harm. So IRS-CI must be the criminal part of the IRS. Yeah, IRS criminal investigations. Okay. From day one, the Los Angeles Police Department has been proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with the FBI in the critical investigation, said Los Angeles Police Chief Jim McDonald. The invaluable expertise provided by the Operation South Bureau FBI Task Force on the Rolling 60s criminal organization gang, or on the Rolling 60s criminal street gang, has played a pivotal role in hope and relief to a community that has endured far too much. Together, we will continue to protect and serve, working tirelessly to ensure the safety of our neighbors. Criminal complaints and indictments contain allegations. All defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in the court of law. If convicted, Henley would face a statutory maximum sentence of life in federal prison. Let me read that again. If convicted, see, this is what I mean. So now Big U is going to have to roll over, as they say. You're going to have to snitch and tell. He's basically looking at being like the next Larry Hoover. You know what I'm saying? So basically, Big U is this decade or this generation version of Larry Hoover, because it says if he is convicted, he would face a statutory maximum sentence of life in federal prison. If convicted, Robinson and Martin would face a statutory maximum sentence of 20 years in federal prison. So the other two, I guess they're like, sergeants at arms or something like that. You know how the ranks go. And that is Robinson and Martin. They're only looking at 20, where Big U is looking at maximum sentence of life in prison. The FBI's Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs, IRS Criminal Investigations, the United States Department of Justice Office of Inspector General, wow, the Los Angeles Police Department, and the North Las Vegas Police Department are investigating this matter. So that is, like I told you, so the organizations and the people involved, all of the people with evidence, all the people who've been looking into this matter. It's like, according to this, it's like one with the Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs, two with the IRS Criminal Investigations, the United States Department of Justice. That's two, three, an Office of Inspector General, four, the Los Angeles Police Department, and five, North Las Vegas Police Department. Those are all of the organizations or entities, or as y'all say, ABC people who are looking into this case. Assistant United States Attorney Kevin J. Butler and Gina A. Maccabee of the Violent and Organized Crime Section are prosecuting this case. Woo! So those are the prosecutors. And it just looks like Big U and the Rolling 60s are in for a big major ride. And people will be telling, we already know that. We've seen it time after time again when it comes down to the gangs, street gangs, the rappers, etc. When you're looking at, because a lot of these people are used to a life of luxury. And when that is taken away from them, when they have to go from eating filet mignon caviar or whatever, to like going in there eating bologna sandwiches, with stale bread, and sleeping on hard cots, in terms of bedding instead of big king size plushed beds and different things of that nature. Not having the freedom to be able to move around, not being able to be around their family, worried about their children, their grandchildren, etc. When they're faced with this type of stuff, sometimes it's too much pressure for them. They're used to that freedom. So, people generally roll over their tail. So 9 times out of 10, people are gonna tell. And then not only that, like I stated, I've also observed where they're not just, this is Crip. Last week was Crip week, or maybe this is Crip month, because they've also picked up another, person in the music industry, Yellow Beezy, which is, a neighborhood rolling Crip, and they've rounded up a slew of the 42 Oakland um, um, street neighborhood rolling 60 street gang out of Dallas, Texas. And so I'm assuming that there are more to come, because it seems like these organizations and these people are all working together, and pretty much putting a puzzle together to just bring clean up the streets. And you got to look at who's in office too. And like I stated, he's been talking about immigration. Y'all didn't know that when he talked about the criminals and stuff, that does include the criminals within the United States as well. And when he's looking at the housing them in prisons, and the death penalty, that includes the people in the United States. Well, he can't actually do that to immigrants, because you have to return them to their homes if they're accepted. But that's like, this is just part one of this information. I just want to bring my speculations, because I ran across a lot of this by hearing about Big U, hearing about uh um Yellow Beezy, and then I ran across the information about the 42 Oakland Crips out of Dallas, in terms of doing research. So I just want to bring that focus and attention to people. Be careful out there, stay safe, stay safe. And until next time, this is Unapologetically QI. And I'm now exiting building. Thank y'all. Smash that like, subscribe if you haven't. Love, harmony. And I'm out.